Man, I'm back, man. I'm back with another message, man. It's the requirements of God, man. As I was just sitting here, man, I was talking with God while I was in the shower, man, just pouring my heart out to God. And I came in here and just sat down and I just got quiet and began to listen to God. And God just began to list the requirements that He requires of us, man. And I'm gonna try to name them all. I'm gonna try to name them off the best as I can as He give them to me. But man, this is why I be trying to tell y'all, man. When God say that that He requires you, or He requires this from you, or in order for you to get this, or in order for you to get that, this is what He requires of you. Well, look, this is what God requires of you, man. And some of the things that God requires of you are your heart. God wants your heart. That's one of the requirements. God wants you to be submissive. That's one of the requirements. God wants you to be obedient. That's one of the requirements. God wants you to live a righteous life. That's one of the requirements. So we got obedient, righteous life, submitted, obedience, righteous life, submitted, your heart. And God requires that we follow Him. And He requires our life. That's one of the requirements as well. So life, your heart, submission, obedience. Life, your heart, submission, obedience, righteous living. That's what God requires. Those are God's requirements, man. Those are some of His requirements. God requires that we not only be hearers of the word, but doers of the word as well. That's a requirement. God required that whatever He did, we do. Well, that follow up that right there falls upon the following. Because when you follow somebody, that's what you do. You do exactly what they do. So that's one of the requirements that when we follow God, we do and live in exactly the way God lives. Are we gonna be perfect? No, but that's not an excuse, man. When you begin to be honest with yourself, man, it becomes a whole lot easier following God. And you just say, okay, I'm doing it because this is what I want to do, man. You got to stop lying to yourself. Because in order for you to receive anything from God, you got to accept the truth. You got to stop being this. Man, y'all got to stop being illusional. God know your heart. God know you got a rebellious, unrepentant heart. He know it. Y'all out here rebelling against God and think God is and think God gonna be pleased with that. God ain't gonna be pleased with y'all rebelling against Him. You know, some of y'all gonna say, "Oh, I ain't rebelling against God, man." When you go about living life the way you want to live it and not the way God have called you to live it, that's rebelling against God. You have a rebellious spirit, a disobedient spirit. Y'all want to be in control of your own life. You don't want to submit to God in His hand. You don't want to submit to His controlling. You want to control your own life. You want every decision you make. You don't involve God. But soon something go left. That's when you want to run to God. And you should have ran to God first before you made the decision. We always want God to fix our problems, our mistakes, after we don't made the decision, after we don't made the mess. It's just like a child. After they don't side there and made the mess, what they want y'all to do? They want y'all to come in there and clean it up. That's how y'all treat God. Well, I'm going to do what I want to. I'm finna go and make this mess. And I know God going to come through and clean it up for me. That's how we are, man. That's how we are. I used to be the same way. But I'm learning that my life is not in my hands. My life is not, I don't control my life. And that I got to be submissive and surrender to God and let God lead and guide me. Because God knows the plans that he has for me. God didn't plan to harm me, but God planned to prosper me. It's me who I harm myself. So I have to, so guess what, at the end of the day, I have to take accountability for everything that I went through in life. Why? Because I rebelled against God. Why? Because I was being disobedient to God. I chose to live life how I want to live, and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I walked around with pride and arrogance like so many of y'all. Can't nobody tell you nothing. First thing you want to say, I know. That's pride, man. Pride, man. Before destruction comes pride. Pride will cause you to destroy a whole lot of stuff. To destroy your life. How can you, answer that question, how can you be in control of your life when you don't even know where you're supposed to be going? You just going somewhere and hoping that that's the destination when it ain't the destination. Now God gotta put you back on the path. And once he put you on the path, guess what we tend to do? We tend to veer off for it. Why? Because we don't want to let go of the wheel. We don't want to let go of control of our life, man. When you begin to make decisions about your life without involving God, that's basically you telling God, this is my life. I'm going to live it how I want to live it. And I don't care what you say. I don't care what I got to go through. I'm just going to do what I want to do. But now you being placed on the path of destruction. When you talk like that, when you show God that I'm going to live this life the way I want to live, okay. One thing about God, God ain't going to force nothing up on you. He'll sit there and let you do whatever it is that you want to do. But that's why I always tell people, man, y'all be asking for so much from God. If God could appear again in human form and tell y'all to y'all face his requirements, that for whatever you asking, man, I guarantee y'all start asking that stuff. You'll start asking, and you'll just be like, okay, God, I'm just happy for what you giving me, cause I ain't ready to give my life over to you fully, cause that's the requirement. That you pick up your cross and follow Jesus Christ daily, not only on Sunday, but Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 364 days out the year, or 365 days out the year, and on a leap year, 366. You got to make the choice every day to pick up your cross and follow Jesus Christ and die to yourself. This is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's not a practice. It's not a religion. It's a relationship. It's a lifestyle that God has called you to live. It's a lifestyle that God has called you to live. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, man. That God expects for everybody to live. It's a lifestyle, man. It's a lifestyle. And if you're not ready to live that lifestyle yet, you still want to walk in your own way, you still want to have control over your life, then do that. But you can't serve two masters. You can't have God and do what you want to do. You can't. You can't. But hey, those are some of the requirements, man. If you just submit your life over to God, man, everything else gonna follow. Everything else gonna follow, man. Is it hard? Man, yes, it is. It's hard, man. Following Christ is hard. Because you can't do what everybody else do. You can't live the way everybody else lives. And that's what's wrong with us. We not modeling our life out to Christ. We modeling our life out to people. Just because they got a title or a position. They say that they some Christian. They say that they some God-fearing men and women. But man, you gotta look at the fruit. They're just like, you sit here and see an apple tree, but it ain't got apples on it. It got pears on it. You can't call it an apple tree. You can't call it a banana tree when it got pineapples on it. You gotta look at the fruit, man. You gotta see these fruit what a life is producing. If it ain't producing with what it's supposed to, whatever that they say that they are, and they're not producing that, then man, you know that's not the way they headed. You know that's not the way that they going. Oh man, a man of God and a woman of God, man, they are yield over to God. Their desire is for God. Their desire is to serve God, to live for God, to walk with God, to please God. Like that's their desire. It's not even about them no more. When you see a person being all about them, their desire is not for God no more. Their desire is for themselves, to please themselves. You got people walking around here with the outer appearance of a Christian, but on the inside, man, they far from it. Their heart is not in it. They can go to church on Sunday. They can sit up there, sing, clap, pray, shout, all that, be at the altar crying. But Monday through Saturday, it ain't nothing about God. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, take it from a person take it from a person who was out there, who chose to live life the way that he wanted to live it. Who rebelled against God, who did whatever it is that he wanted to do, when he wanted to do it. That's why I would tell people, man, you got to pay attention to who God placed in your life. Man, God will sit down, will allow you to see a person go through hell and hot water. to show you, man, you don't want to go through that. That, hey, if you don't get your life right, that's what you gonna go through. But we feel like at the end of the day, it ain't gonna never happen to me. It ain't gonna never happen to me. There were so many people say, oh, that ain't gonna never happen to me. So I ain't worried about it. It ain't gonna never, man, you can't never, man, you can't sit here and say no. Because you don't know what situation or what circumstance can happen in your life that will make you just say, you know what, hey, I gotta get out here and get it the best way I can. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know what God will allow to happen in your life. You don't know who God will allow to come in your life to lead you down a path of destruction. You don't know. You don't know what God will allow to happen in your life. You can't never say no. I never thought I'd be in prison, but look what happened. Because of my disobedience, because of my rebellious ways, because of me living life how I want to live, me doing what I want to do. Me being impatient, me having a hardened heart, me having pride, all that led me down a path of destruction. Telling y'all, man, like, it's all good. Life is all good when, hey, it seems like everything going good for you until your life start crashing and you can't stop it. Everything is all good when life is just going. But soon that thing begin to fall and crash and you can't stop it. All you can just do is just sit there and just watch. Watch everything be taken away from you. Lose everything. Knowing that now you got to start all back over from scratch. That's what I would tell you, man. Look, God will come in and take everything away from you just to get your attention, just to show you that you need. See, some of y'all God ain't allowed that thing. He ain't allowed something devastating to happen in your life where it really gonna break you, where it really gonna turn your heart to him. He just doing what he did to Pharaoh, to most of y'all. He just allowing some little plagues to happen in your life. He knowing that little stuff that is happening in your life, he know it ain't gonna get your attention. He's sending people into your life to speak into your life. He know that you ain't gonna listen. He know your heart gonna get hard and even worse. But like Pharaoh, God gonna allow something so devastating to happen in your life that it's gonna get your attention. It's gonna wake you. I don't wish bad on nobody, but that's just how God works. He be trying to get our attention by little small things. But sometimes God gotta let something enormous, something giant, something devastating. Sometimes He gotta touch something that we love oh so much. Sometimes God gotta make us lose some stuff that, man, I'm talking about He just gotta everything gone before you drop down to your knees and surrender to God and say, God, I'm here. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. Cause the situation that most of y'all in right about now, man, that thing ain't doing nothing to you, man. Cause you still trying to keep it in. Cause you still got it in your hand. You still got it in your hand. You ain't fully submitted. Whatever it is that you're going through in life, you ain't fully submitted that over to God. You still holding on to it. You still in control. You feel like I can do something. I can do something. But when God bring that thing into your life to the point where you can't do nothing, you can't reach out to nobody, God block everybody. You ain't gonna have no trouble but to submit and surrender to Him. You ain't gonna have no choice. Some of y'all ain't experiencing pain. Like, you ain't had that pain to where the point it breaks you. Like, I'm talking about pain where it breaks you. Like, pain where all you can do is just call on God. All you can do is just turn to Him. All you can do is just surrender to Him. Y'all ain't had that type yet. You ain't had that type. I faced a near-death experience when I was in Afghanistan. And God just revealing that to me right now, that near-death experience, it should have drawn me to Him. But because it was something like, it was something minor, it didn't scare me enough. Just like that show Scared Straight, God say, it didn't scare me enough. That little experience that I had in Afghanistan, it didn't scare me enough. I was scared, but it didn't scare me to the point where, like, yeah, let me surrender my life over to God. Because at the end of the day, so many people, man, who have been down the path of being in the military, man, they don't seen some things, man, they were scared to the point where they ain't had no trouble but to call on God. In the foxhole, you getting shot at. People beside you getting blowed up. All type of stuff like that. You just trying to make it back to home to your family. And the only person you know who gonna cover you and protect you and lead you and get you back home is God. That's why that's how, like I tell you, man, God will use a situation. He'll use it for His good. He'll use it to draw you to Him. He'll use a death, sickness, illness, whatever it is. He'll use it to draw you to Him. But God told me that what I faced in Afghanistan, it wasn't enough. It didn't scare me straight. So He allowed me to go to prison. God could have blocked it. God could have stopped it. But God allowed me to enter into that. He allowed me to enter into it. Because He knew what was ahead. But when I got out, what happened? I fell away from God. Fell away from God. In this last situation, it broke me. It brought me down to my knees where I cried out and said, God, I surrender. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. That's all God be trying to get us to do, man, is surrender and submit to Him. His will. The life that He has for us. God ain't trying to hurt you. God ain't trying to harm you. God ain't trying to stop you from living life. God ain't trying to stop you from enjoying life. He just wants you to do it the way that He wants you to do it. He just wants you to live life the way He wants you to live life. And at the same time, man, God wants you to serve Him. God want to use you. God want to give you that great and wonderful life. But He ain't going to give it to you until you make a decision that you're going to submit and surrender unto Him. I don't care how much praying you do. One thing about it, God always going to show us His grace and mercy. God always going to make sure that we got what we need. But man, y'all know what you've been praying, man. You've been praying, man, God, I want to live this type of lifestyle. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. God got a wonderful life for you. Beautiful life. Victorious life. Vainglorious life. Prosperous life. I'm talking about what? Everything that your hand touch, it gonna prosper. Every time you turn around, blessings on top of blessings. Better than the life that you see right now before your eyes. But you gotta get in alignment with God. You gotta get in a position. You gotta get in the will of the Father. You got to. You gotta be willing to lose some stuff, to lose some people, in order to receive what God got for you. You gotta be willing to make sacrifices. You gotta be willing to lose your life for God in order to receive what He has for you. That's what you gotta do. The requirements, man. It ain't easy. Be days that you want to give up. Days you be want to throw in the towel. Days you just be want to quit. Days you sit there and question God, like, God, why do I keep going? Why do I keep pushing forward? And all I just keep seeing is the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Why? Why, Lord? But you never know how far you are from your breakthrough. You never know how far you are from the life that your promised land. You never know how far. For some of y'all, you're going to be like the Hebrew Israelites. You're going to be like them. For 40 years, you're going to wander around in the wilderness trying to get to the promised land when it could have took less time if you just would have been obedient to God. That's what holds your promise. If I promise you something and tell you, okay, do what you got to do in order to do that. And if you do this, I promise I'm going to give you this. But then you blatantly want to rebel against me, or you want to do what you want to do and being disobedient and not follow me and not do what I say do. You think I'm finna let you, you think I'm finna give you that promise? You think I'm finna give you that promise? I'm gonna let you sit around and just continue on doing what you want to do till you make up in your mind, okay, the only way I'm gonna get this is I gotta be obedient. That's how God is. God will sit down and let you do whatever it is that you want to do. You're going to continue to be in your wilderness for 30, 40, 50 years until you come to the mind that, hey, man, I'm tired of being in this wilderness. I'm ready to cross over to my promised land. But the only way I'm crossing over to my promised land is I gotta stop being rebellious. I gotta stop being disobedient, and I gotta walk in obedience. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Moses only got a chance to see the promised land, but he couldn't enter into the promised land. Why? Because he was disobedient to God. So what that tell you? God told him to speak to the rock, and he hit the rock. He spiked the rock. God would test you by little small things, man. He will test your obedience by little small things. He'll tell you go do something. Just see if you gonna do it. You feel like just because it's small, it is. But God testing your obedience. He testing your obedience. I ain't perfect, cause it's still a lot of stuff I gotta still stuff God checking me on about. Me, especially my humbleness. Me being humble. Cause I don't know it all. And yeah, I know God told me that, if I want to know anything, come to him. But at the end of the day, sometimes, man, God will put people in your life to teach you, to speak things unto you. And if you walk around with arrogance and you're not humble, then you can't receive God's direction. You can't receive his guidance. You can't receive nothing from God. Because you walk around with pride, with arrogance. You're not humble. You're not humble. You're not humble. You got to walk in humility, man. You got to walk in humility. But these just are the requirement, man. These are just some of the requirements that God requires of us. I'm like this. I don't know about y'all. I'm like this, man. I want to please God so much that I try to live a perfect life. I ain't gonna lie. I try to live a perfect life. But I stress myself out trying to live a perfect life for God. Because at the end of the day, I want what God got for me. And I know the only way I can get it is by walking in obedience. Like, my heart is for God. Like, the desire that I have is for God, man. Oh, excuse me. The desire that I have for God, man. I to live for Him, man. To serve Him. Like I always say, even the God never ever do nothing else for me again. He done enough by when He died on the cross. Yeah, I have material things that I want from God. We all do. We all do. We all want nice things. Everybody want to live comfortable. Everybody want to be able to pay their bills on time. Everybody want to be able to, do as you please, go as you please, and not have to worry about if you got the money, if you're lacking, or whatever the case may be. Everybody have that desire. But you can't let those desires get to the point where you're chasing after those things more than you chasing after God. Because God said we got to seek ye kingdom first, and everything else shall be added unto you. When you begin to chase after everything else shall be added unto you more than you chasing after God, then yeah. Because He's the one who is going to provide those things. He's the one who's going to give you those things. He is. We mess up trying to get it on our own. That's why we struggling now. That's why we sacrificing ourselves. We sacrificing ourselves because we chasing after those things. Yeah, y'all sacrificing yourself because you chasing after those things more than you chasing after God. So now you out here working 3 and 4 and 5 jobs, blood, sweat, and tears. You willing to do any and everything just to get it. You selling your soul. You selling your soul. You selling your soul. But these are the requirements, man. Some of the requirements. But today's day that the Lord has made, man. So we're going to rejoice. We're going to be happy. We're going to be glad in it. We're going to thank God. We're going to praise God. We're going to uplift God, man. But these are the requirements. The requirements from the God, from the Lord. Not from me. I ain't make this up. It come from God. His requirements. His requirements. But hey, I gave it to you. Now it's your job to take it and implement it. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. I'm learning. I'm learning to humble myself. God teaching me through things, through trials and tribulations, that I have to humble myself. It's okay to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. But seek God first and let him lead you to the right people. Or you ask God, man, God see what you facing. All you gotta do is call on God for 911. He'll send that rescue. He'll send the people to help you. He'll touch a person to release that blessing. He'll speak somebody. He'll speak to somebody. He'll allow somebody to see you going through what you're going through. You never know how God works. God works in mysterious ways. Okay. I love y'all, man. I remember God love you a million times more. Make some time for God, man. Get in his presence. Get in his presence, man. Get in his presence, man. Spend time with God. Talk to him. Have a little conversation with him. Just tell God how you feel, man. Open your heart up to God. He already know what you're facing. He already know what you're thinking before you even think it, what you're going to say before you even... God know what's in your heart, man. So why you continue to hold that stuff in your heart like that? Talk to him. Talk to him. But when you talk to him, listen. Listen to him. Listen to him. But hey, I love y'all, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Y'all be safe out there. Until next time, man. Peace.